Welcome back, everybody, to the Hotspot. Joining me now live in studio. You might recall a couple days ago we had Roro Atta and Roy Gamboa joining me. They were talking about everything they're going to do for Veterans Day, and we told you there was going to be part 2. Also joining them on the KUM couch is our friend Tony Tyron from the HMI Group, and we are going to talk about the annual Wounded Warrior Ride. Gentlemen, welcome back. And Tony, good to see you all the way over there.
Thank you.
Technically, I think you're in Jigo at this point.
I love Jigo.
Yeah, but you know, there's going to be a lot happening in Jigo because Jigo is home to, among other places, the VFW.
Yes.
And Roro, you guys at the Guam Hogs, always doing so much good for the community, but I would dare say that this is probably one of the most important events that you do, because to honor the people, the servicemen and women who were in some form or fashion, you know, injured, damaged, you know, affected by their time in the service. Right?
Yeah, so this event, what we're doing is we're raising money for veterans organizations. We do all these events, and this is one of the shirts that we sell. We've sold this a couple of years. These are a couple of years ago, so what we do with these shirts is we sell these shirts, and then the money we raise, we go to...
Or if you can, just sit up a little bit, and we want to get a shot of that, because that is beautiful.
Yeah, so one of our guys designed the shirt, and then what we do is we raise money for these organizations, and we pick our organizations based on what they do in the community. And HMI and GY671 have been doing a lot of work with our veterans here, which are helping our veterans, you know, including getting their claims, and also helping out with their mental health, and being able to just get out and do stuff other than just staying at home. And so this event, again, we start off at VFW in Jigo. I don't know if some of you guys been there. Last couple of years we've had the big huge garrison US flag, and hopefully this year we'll be able to get the big garrison Guam flag as well. So we'll have 2 big huge flags down there.
And you can see that from Anderson.
Yes.
Yeah. If you're up on the Air Force Base, you can see that. You guys have like the nice big construction equipment that fly, you know, Old Glory and the Great Seal of Guam proudly.
Yeah. So we're also going to be doing a Veterans Day celebration there that day. We're also going to be raffling off a rifle, shotgun with a knife combo for veterans. That money is going to help the VFW, which we also help our veterans here. Who are veterans of foreign wars, who have deployed, and they're looking for a place to have camaraderie and stuff like that. And we also help them with, we have service officers that can help assist them with their claims as well. And from there we ride out. We show up there is at 8 o'clock. Go time is 10:15. Roll down to EPOW for the ceremony. And from there we'll be doing continuing on our poker run. So all that money again goes to these guys, 50-50. The winner wins 50%, and then the other 50 goes to these guys.
Now Roy, if I may, that's worth mentioning, because you know Roro perfectly said, you know, you want that sense of camaraderie, and a lot of people think when they think Wounded Warrior, that means, are you only helping the people that, you know, if you earned, you know, the Purple Heart and you sustained an injury in combat? But there's a lot of veterans who served, and some of the scars that they have, you can't see from the outside, or you know, they feel like, I'm used to being in a platoon, I'm with my brothers in arms, and now when I got out of the service, you know, I feel lonely. I almost like lose a sense of purpose, and we're definitely here to support them as well.
Yeah, definitely. So you know, with our organization, we're not keyed in on just one specific genre or era of service members. We have this mindset of, if you raised your right hand, whether you were in combat or not, whatever it may be, you're part of the brotherhood, part of the sisterhood, stuff like that. And yeah, you hit it right there, right? Purpose. When we were in the service, we didn't have to think. We were told, if you were an enlisted side or whatever it may be, you were told there was instruction, there was a purpose. And a lot of times when veterans get out, they lose that sense of purpose. Where do I belong? Where do I fit in? And what we see every week, we have our little battle buddy talk every single week, and we get 25, 30 veterans coming out. We sit down, we talk story. There's usually a topic. And when we get together, it's sharing stories that are similar to let them know, hey, look, we've been down that same road that you've been. And some of us have come out of it, so to speak, not necessarily recovered, but in a way more like, hey, I've learned how to deal with it. I've learned how to cope. This is how we did it. And so that's a lot more comfortable setting, because they're with people with similar backgrounds, right? All too often, veterans don't feel like going to a therapist's office because it's 4 walls, it's enclosed, and you know, there's not a lot of brotherhood or camaraderie. Here in a group setting, you know, the lights are a little bit dimmer. Veterans feel like they're a lot more willing to open up and engage
because they get it. Because you guys went through the same training. You guys suffered together. You guys, you know, made the same sacrifice, and you're like, you know, you either metaphorically or sometimes literally locked arms and, you know, did those rocking chairs in, you know, the super cold water and everything, and said, you know, if one of us has to go through this, we're all going to go through this.
So definitely. So while we focus, I mean, while we do a lot of that stuff every single week, with GWAS 671, we have an annual calendar where we do a lot of other things, right? We do fun stuff, get back out there and participate with the community. We get involved with 5Ks. We get involved with the other veteran organizations. And I think Roy can attest to this, right? He's with the Guam Veterans Commission. And over the last couple of years, we've seen these 13 different organizations gel, come together. A lot of the normal infighting, so to speak, that we've seen in years past, that's gone. We're all helping, supporting each other's events. We're all out there, and our voice is starting to become a singular voice where we're saying, hey, look, man, we're veterans, we're part of you, you're part of us, and these are some of the issues that we're going through. Just hear us out, you know. So, yeah, there's a lot of cool stuff, you know, getting involved with the Wounded Warrior Ride. I ride myself as well. It's a cool way to get out there with again, also a bunch of veterans on bikes. And
Roro with the Guam Hogs, you're with Legends.
With Legends,
if I may, I want to bring in Tony real quick, but I also want to highlight the fact, Mr. Mike, if you can get a shot of this. This is a lanyard that actually Roy has very generously given us, together with veterans. He's wearing itself and everything. And I would like to give this, if I may, to our vet. Here you go, Pete. So, Pete, how many years were you in the Army? Air Artillery, Pete. 25? 17 years in the service. So, like, I am in the company of some gentlemen who really, some Guamanians who really, you know, do a wonderful cause. And speaking of causes, Tony, you know, your group's mission is to help these people who, you know, did a particular mission like in their time and everything. So what are some of the most frequently asked questions that you get about, you know, what services do you provide and how can I come to you if I'm in need?
So we're fairly new. HMI is probably a little bit over 2 years old now. And when we first started out, these two were already doing a lot of the hard work. And when I actually bumped into these two, I was like, I can't do what you guys are doing, right? You guys work too hard. There's a lot of work that needs to get done. And because of that, I said, there's really more dedicated and good people that are able to do this hard work. So I actually kind of wanted to just push myself back and say, I'll support as much as I can. And what ended up happening was there's so much that can and still needs to be done for our veterans. So we can't do it all alone, and we can't even, just the three of us can't do this. There is so much that needs to be done that any infighting, if we talk about it, it's really just what it is amongst, you know, veterans. You know,
and again, you're providing services and support to members of any armed forces. You know, not just officers, not just enlisted people. You know, whether they were born and raised on Guam or whether they decided to retire here and everything, you were there for them.
Believe it or not, we have a bunch of federal contractors that have come into the island that are working up at places like Camp Blas. That, you know, same thing with what Roy is doing with a lot of the active duty and folks like that. They come to us to seek some help. And what we've started to do, and you know, we have to be a little bit careful about what we say here. So when you have to go apply for your benefits, right, the VA office is the only office that should be filling out paperwork. And with that in mind, there's still a huge need for all the veterans that are out there. I mean, we have veterans probably like Pete here that may not have even put in a claim. I don't know. I'll talk to him after we get out because there's been a lot of changes. Now, where we've actually come in was we started to do a program where when I first got introduced to this, it was an off-island company that helped me with the Nexus letter. And here on Guam, Nexus letters are not very popular. And part of the reason it's not very popular is because there are costs that are not covered by insurance. And a lot of doctors don't necessarily want to get involved.
So certain types of procedures, certain types of medication perhaps, or, you know.
Yes, and so, but what we've tried to do is try to show them through a bunch of our different coaches that come into our group, and they talk about how they navigated the system, because for every veteran it's different. As Roy and Roland were saying here, some of these guys are combat, some are non-combat. So when they do come into us, we have to take a look at what's going on. So utilizing Dr. Akoma and his clinic and the staff, they're now growing over there. So now we have some veteran nurse practitioners that are coming on board that are going to be doing the nexus letters and helping them understand the connection from their service-related injuries and how it relates to the medical side, because that's the important part of how we get them to be able to be service connected. Is the
right.
So
outstanding. Well, and you're fighting for them now as they fought for you. So we got to wrap up. But gentlemen, I'll give you like 1 minute each to wrap up. Go ahead, bro.
Yeah. So again, this ride is open to all riders, anyone, individuals, clubs, groups, riding clubs. You're more than welcome to attend. Again, we meet up at VFW at 8 o'clock.
Again, it's not just Harley guys. So even like street bikes.
Street bikes.
There you go.
Pedal bikes, you might want to leave a little bit early, but
might have a difficult time keeping up because but they're welcome as well.
Yes, everyone is welcome. We'll also have flags down there, and then we'll ride down to EPAL for the Veterans Day ceremony, do that, and then once we're done with that, we'll continue the ride and then end it over at VFW for more refreshments and celebration.
Okay, real quick, Roy. Yeah, you were saying like you gave up wearing the uniform some time ago because you wanted to concentrate on family. But for gentlemen like you, and there are many just like you, the fight continues.
You know, the fight continues, and with GY 671, you know, the first thing is being able to speak up. And if you're a little bit mamala, shy, or whatever it may be, you've got a brother. So the first thing to do is reach out to a brother who probably is linked up with us and things like that. And just come on out. Wednesday nights down at Sagan Couture tomorrow, 7 p.m. We provide some food, some refreshments and stuff like that. It's a bunch of veterans. Nobody's there to pick your brain or anything like that. But 30 seconds left. I just wanted to thank Roro and the motorcycle community for doing this. This is the 12th annual ride for Wounded Warriors. And as a beneficiary of some of the proceeds, this is going to help us to, you know, get more things done to give back to the veterans. And that's what we want to do. We make sure that we're out there for them, and any type of help or services, you know, including HMI here, we're all about giving back to the veterans. All
right, well done. Okay, so once again, meet up at VFW Post 1509 at 0800, if I may, as a civilian say that. So Roro Ada, Roy Gamboa, and Tony Tyron. Gentlemen, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you for everything that you've done. All right, please stay tuned because Nestor Lecanto's Candidate for the Conversation talk with Peter Santos, who is running as a writing candidate for Attorney General, is up next.